Thank you very much. Today's show is going to be a great one. Later on, we're going to have a fitness instructor who's going to help us get that impetus for our fitness programs that we started earlier this year. But we're going to start off today with a very special guest. Today, we have as our guest someone who is the Vice President of Education at the Black Walnut Toastmasters Club right here in Kitchener-Waterloo, Heather Landells. Heather is a competent communicator, and which is a prime designation in Toastmasters, and she's also very close to getting her competent leader designation as well. But most of her time in the last year has been dedicated to using the online system that Black Walnut Toastmasters has called Easy Speak, and making sure that there are roles assigned for people in every meeting and that everybody has something that's going to help them grow. Welcome, Heather, to earlier today.
Thank you, Bud, for inviting me.
Heather, I was in preparation for this, I was looking through this magazine, Toastmaster Magazine, that is sent out to every Toastmaster each month. And one thing caught my eye, right in the inside on the agenda here, or the articles that are listed, at the bottom is a series of bullet points that's labeled a Toastmaster's Promise. Can you tell us something about that?
The Toastmasters Promise is something that we have as part of the induction ceremony for new members. And they stand at the front and repeat the promise to the group of what they will do as the new Toastmaster in the club.
Okay, terrific. Now I noticed some things on here, just looking over the list here. It says to attend meetings regularly, to prepare all speeches, projects, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments. And there's another one that says to serve as a club member or club officer when called upon to do so. Do you feel that this is what's happening with the Toastmasters?
Well, I think that we fall into something of giving these promises to new members before they are inducted, just before the ceremony. And they haven't had a chance to read it through and look at what are some of the promises that they're making to a club, of ways by which they are going to commit to be an active member of that particular club.
So they may not even realize they've been making a promise.
Exactly, yes. I think we fall short perhaps in presenting this to them at the induction. New member, kind of afraid, standing in front of the room, reading something that they haven't really had a chance to kind of digest and think about what they're committing to. It's like a verbal agreement.
Would it be unfair to say they don't take it seriously, this as a promise?
Yes, and I think we have a role as a club to help them with that. I think giving the promise to them in advance, maybe having their mentor talk to them about what being part of a club is all about is a helpful thing. Like I said a moment ago, this is a verbal promise, a verbal agreement that they are making to their fellow club members.
Okay. Let me ask you this: if this promise was put front and center, so that your members could get enthused about supporting the club, is this something that would make them take the club more seriously instead of thinking of it as sort of something that you join and show up for occasionally and maybe poke at it a little bit and see how that would work?
I think it would help, and I think that there are lots of meetings when these roles are filled and that promise is kept. But there are clubs and meetings within our club whereby those roles aren't filled, or they're dropped at the last moment. And I guess my fear is that the members who do come to the meetings are going to get tired of filling those roles through time. And also, I think it's kind of an unfair thing for people who might want that role and can't really prepare for it because they don't have a lot of time, if at all, to prepare for it, to complete their competent communicator, the competent leader, or the advanced levels that they're working at within the club.
It sounds like what you're saying is that a club is really only as strong as the members who are in it and what they're doing with their experience in the club.
Exactly. And I think, you know, we owe it to ourselves to be able to, we call ourselves a supportive club. So to be supportive, that means sharing the roles, giving people different opportunities to have those roles.
What if somebody's nervous about speaking, like they're uneasy about getting up in front of a group or taking on a particular role? How can you handle that?
Well, I think that's very common. People join Toastmasters to overcome some nerves that they might have in terms of speaking in front of people, and so that's very common. The clubs are very supportive. It's the most secure, I think, place for somebody to practice some new skills. There's applause, there's encouragement, there's a mentor to help people along the way, you know, some positive feedback given in a very respectful way, but kind of supported and surrounded with encouragement and positive comments as well.
So it really is about expanding your comfort zone then and getting more comfortable with different roles, with that encouragement and that help.
Exactly.
What do you think are some of the areas that people feel are their comfort zones?
I think that there's one large area that kind of translates in different ways within a club. And as a VP of Ed, I've heard it quite a bit this year in terms of, I don't feel ready to do this role, or, and I guess my response is, when will you feel ready? You know, I think jumping in, trying the role, I just think back personally to when I thought of being in different roles, Toastmaster, General Evaluator. It seemed like a huge, huge role. And the more I did it, the more often I did it, the smaller that role became. It didn't seem as daunting. And I think by continuing to wait until somebody's ready, that the role might grow instead of shrink in size, or you know, their fear.
They might grow with the role.
Exactly.
Yeah, good idea. When I was reading through this magazine, Heather, I also noticed that one other theme that I consistently saw was the theme of leadership. What are your experiences in terms of leadership in the Toastmasters club in general?
Toastmasters isn't just about public speaking, which there's an impromptu and a prepared section of Toastmasters. Being part of table topics is an impromptu part, and preparing a speech is the scheduled part. And the leadership part can involve evaluating, organizing the evaluation team as a general evaluator, organizing the meeting for the week as the Toastmaster. So various roles that are very transferable to jobs and to life skills.
Everyday life skills, terrific. Well, I've been speaking with Heather Landells, who's the Vice President for the Vice President of Education for the Black Walnut Toastmasters Club. Black Walnut meets on Wednesday mornings right here in Kitchener-Waterloo at 7:30. And if you can get up that early, but if you can't, you can check on the online and find Toastmasters clubs all over the Waterloo region that meet. Heather, thank you for joining us today.